I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and in this video, we're test driving the new 2019 GT350. Let's roll. Hey guys, Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and boy do we have a treat for you today. You see, we're out here in Pontiac, Michigan at the M1 Concourse to be exact, where Ford was nice enough to fly us out to get behind the wheel of the brand new 2019 Shelby GT350 and experience some of the changes they made on the track behind us. Now, it's a little questionable weather-wise. We're dodging some rain showers, but something tells me we'll be able to have a little fun along the way. Well, that didn't take long. So again, guys, we are dodging rain showers here today. Not ideal. We do think the track's gonna clear up later, and if it does, we'll be putting this thing to the wood. So full disclosure, guys, it's been a couple of years since I spent a good amount of time in a Shelby GT350, which I'll be the first to admit is far too long. And while there has been some subtle tweaks and changes from the 2016 R variant that I drove a couple years back to the 2019 version that we're driving here today, one thing remains the same. This is easily the most unique Mustang of all time. So how did Ford go about deciding it was time to make changes to an already stellar car? Well, to do so, they enlisted the help of someone who knows this thing pretty damn well, Billy Johnson. Billy and his team for the Continental World Tire Challenge back in 2016 won 6 of 10 races altogether, basically just dominating the field in a GT350 RC. Ford reached out to Billy, got him in the car. Billy gave his feedback as to what he thinks they should change, and as a result, they did make some subtle tweaks to this car here for 2019. So what do you say we talk about those changes a little bit more? We'll park this thing, hop on out, and show you what's up. So right up front, the biggest changes made to the 2019 Shelby were done so in the interest of adding a lot more grip, a little bit more aero, albeit pretty subtle, and finally, more tech. Basically, they wanted to make this car better, but without killing the character or the rawness of the high-revving, corner-carving Shelby. And what do you say we start with that aero, because unless you look closely, you might even miss it. Now, up front, pretty much business as usual here for the GT350. We have those 2015 style headlamps still. We also have the standard front fascia, but if you look a little closer, some of these openings up here have been closed off a little bit more compared to prior years. Now, that was done in the interest of adding a little bit more aero and to coincide with the new for 2019 spoiler without adversely affecting any of your cooling capabilities with the GT350 when being pushed hard. But let's talk about that spoiler, because easily one of my favorite parts of the 2019 GT350, Ford's actually calling it a swing. Part spoiler, part wing. It takes some small bits from the 2018 Performance Pack Mustang GT's spoiler, combines that with the GT350R wing, and it meets somewhere in the middle. And guys, believe me when I tell you, not only is it beautiful, but it's also functional. Now that functionality comes in the form of this removable gurney flap here on this new for 2019 spoiler, or swing as Ford likes to call it. And again, not only does it just look really cool, but also very functional. Adds a bunch of downforce at speed and is removable if you wanted to take it off for non-track day events. Now this gurney flap, along with the adjustable strut mounts underneath the hood, make up the two parts of the handling package that will set you back roughly $850 on top of the nearly $60,000 base price of the standard GT350. But let's talk about grip, because it's essential to what this car is all about, and perhaps one of the biggest changes for 2019. And that is the inclusion of the Sport Cup 2 tires from Michelin here on the non-R models. 295s up front, 305s in the rear, and a whole bunch of grip is what you can expect from these tires, which, by the way, were actually specially made for the Ford Performance brand. Now, if you drive your GT350 like it's intended, then this is nothing but good news, right? Ton more braking, bunch more lateral and linear grip, and more. However, if you plan on dailying your Shelby, well then you might want to consider a set of rubber that will be a little bit more forgiving in bad weather, in addition to a little bit longer lifespan. Now those Sport Cup 2s are wrapped around a brand new for 2019 wheel here, 19-inch wheel that is, and unless you look closely, you might get it confused with the standard 10-spoke wheel on previous years. Now in its place, more of a split 5-spoke design, same kind of gloss black finish going on there, and yes, those R variants do still receive those baller carbon fiber wheels and wider meats all around. Now, if you look a little closer behind those new 19-inch wheels, you will notice another subtle change here for 2019, and that is the fact that these brakes are no longer cross-drilled. Instead, you got your standard blanks there from Brembo, 15.5-inch rotors up front, 15 in the rear. That remains unchanged from previous years. Now, Ford talked to us a little bit more about that, said the cross-drilling just really wasn't necessary on these cars from a temperature standpoint, and on top of that, the cross-drilling tends to chew up pads at a faster rate. So they just nixed that all together, went with a standard rotor. You still have those 6-piston Brembos up front clamping down hard, 4 pistons in the rear. Now, along with all this hardware, Ford added some new software updates for the anti-lock braking system, e-pass or your electric power steering, and your stability control. And because of those super sticky Sport Cup 2s, Ford actually went through the MagneRide system, made some tweaks there, in addition to adding a firmer spring up front, softer spring in the rear, and a slightly bigger rear stability bar. But aside from that, not much has changed on the exterior here for 2019, with the exception of a couple of new colors, one of which is Performance Blue that we have right here. There's also a brighter Velocity Blue, while 3 colors do make their exit for 2019, including Triple Yellow, Leadfoot Gray, and Lightning Blue. But what do you say we hop in this thing, because there are some new changes to the interior of this thing here for 2019 as well. All right, first up there is the addition of Ford Pass Connect. Now this basically allows you to track your car wirelessly from your phone, in addition to locking and unlocking your car at any point from that app. Now this also gives you the option of adding a Wi-Fi hotspot if you're willing to pay that monthly fee. Next up, guys, you are getting a standard 9-speaker system here with the standard GT350, but if you kick in that $2 grand extra for the technology package, you are getting a rockin' 12-speaker B&O Play system with the addition of a subwoofer, along with heated mirrors, cross-traffic alert and blind spot monitoring, and maybe my favorite part, the little Cobra puddle lamps, because who doesn't love that? Now 2019 still gives you those awesome Recaros, of course, but they've added some slate-colored Miko suede inserts, as they call them here, to the Recaros themselves, while non-Recaro cars do get some new embossing on the seats. You're also looking at a new wrapped console here with accent stitching, and not shown on this car, unfortunately, is a beautiful new exposed carbon fiber dash panel, which is absolutely stunning in person. We're also looking at old favorites, of course, like the Miko suede wrapped steering wheel and that unique GT350 knob. Under the hood, things remain unchanged here for 2019. You still have that Banshee-like 8,250 RPM out of the 5.2 flat plane crank V8, which is undoubtedly the best part of this car. 526 is your horsepower, 429 is your torque. Again, remains unchanged here for the new model year, but rather than sit here and blab about it, let's go have some fun. Oh, how awesome is this? In the brand new 2019 GT350, we are suited up, we got some dry track, we're about to have some fun. Step it out a little bit. Apex. All right, here we go. $6 grand, $7 grand, $8 grand, 110. I lagged it in third. On these Cup 2s is ridiculous. Whew! Man, I'm sorry I didn't talk much, guys. I was enjoying the hell out of myself just then. But God, that was fun. I mean, we just flogged the ever-living piss out of this thing. I was giving it a lot, and this thing was just taking it. Can I go again? Now that we've had a chance to enjoy this marvelous machine, what do you say we meet one of the guys who is responsible for this car in its current state? Here with none other than the man, Jim Owens, marketing manager, Mustang, Shelby, and just all-around fun haver, I guess. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. So glad that you're up here in sunny Michigan in the middle of May.
Very sunny, right? No, listen, we dodged enough showers to have enough fun today, and that's why we're here talking about this car behind us, the all-new 2019 GT350. Jim, what are you most excited about with the changes here at this car?
So what I'm excited about is when the engineering men and women of Ford Performance get an opportunity to work on a platform over a period of time, magic happens, right? And so they totally redesigned the suspension system to set up a car that makes you feel more confident, with more downforce, with different tire settings, different wheel settings. So as a novice, you can feel confident and then learn as you go. And if you're somebody like Billy Johnson who can go out 10/10ths, it will deliver that as well. And that's what we're so happy about.
And speak to that a little bit more. You actually worked with Billy substantially on developing some of the changes, correct?
Yeah, Billy's just a lot of fun to work with. It's kind of like Carroll Shelby used to do. He'd say, hey, I'm not an engineer, but I can feel it in the seat of my pants. Well, Billy can feel it in the seat of his pants, and then also has the smarts to work with the engineering team to actually translate what they need to change to make it better. And a champion driver for us, both in the GT4 series and in Ford GT, plus the GT500 he's been working on as well, which would be fun. For the first time in 50 years, we'll have the GT350 and the GT500 on the lots at the same time. It was 1970 was the last time we did that, right? So if you want the pedal, the third pedal, and you want that true driver's sports car where you can feel and do the inputs, rev matching with your pedals and doing your heel toe, you know, the GT350 will still be there for you. This GT500 is both the fastest straight line production Mustang we've ever done and the fastest on a road course Mustang we've ever done. Big thing difference is obviously forced air, you know, bigger wheels and tires, bigger brakes, massive brakes. It's just amazing because if you're gonna go that fast,
you need to stop.
And the Tremec, right? Tremec designed the manual that's in the GT350. Tremec worked with our engineering team to develop this true dual clutch transmission, specifically designed for this vehicle. And I don't care how fast you are and reacting on your third pedal, you know, you're not going to shift in the hundreds of milliseconds that this thing shifts in. And the faster you can get back into that and into the gears, and that transmission, I mean, is going to be stellar for those track times. And we believe our Mustang folks will be truly happy. The men and women of Ford Performance and the Mustang team have used the innovation and technologies that have gained to actually be able to deliver more repetitive laps. And that type of development has allowed us to do things so that the base customer, the novice person, can go out there and feel good, and the person who wants to run 10/10ths can just knock it out of the park.
Awesome. Well, Jim, it's been a pleasure, man. Well done on this. We're excited to see what the 500 is all about. Yep. Maybe we'll see you out here at the next one in a couple of months for that, huh?
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it. Guys, I've said it once and I'll say it again. The Ford GT350 is the most unique, most balanced Mustang of all time. And the changes they've made here for the 2019 model year have only made the car better. The Sport Cup 2, the grip out of that thing, the visceral experience of revving this thing out past 8,000 RPM. There's just nothing like it out on the road. Now, what will the GT500 be all about? Well, time will tell there, but in the meantime, this thing has my heart. Guys, we want to thank Ford for having us out here today to Pontiac, Michigan at the M1 Concourse. We dodged some rain showers, but we did manage to have a little bit of fun. We hope you enjoyed the video, and remember, for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.